This is what democracy looks like.
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 I'm Rocky Anderson. I'm mayor of Salt Lake City, and we were very, very proud and honored to host once again the Convention of the Veterans of Foreign Wars. Salt Lake City has a lot of advantages as a gathering place, a convention center, the center for major events. I think one thing that people find so wonderful about Salt Lake City for these gatherings is we have a major international airport with a Delta hub that's only 10 minutes from our downtown. We're only 30 minutes away from 6 major ski resorts. We have beautiful canyons, extraordinary access to all sorts of recreational opportunities. Whatever anybody likes to do for recreation, we have it within just a few minutes of Salt Lake City.
Now, the VFW is a very robust organization, and their visit here to Salt Lake City attracted some political individuals. Could you tell us how the visit, the president, how these things have been a benefit or how it might have affected the city?
Well, President Bush came, and we were honored that he came to Salt Lake City. And one thing that I wanted to make clear in my remarks to the VFW convention was that it's our political leaders that determine how our military resources are going to be dedicated. And then it's our military's duty to respond. That's what a democracy is. Otherwise, if the military is determining things, you usually have a military dictatorship. So that's a healthy system, but part of being a healthy system is that people can disagree with our political leaders, but still it is so fundamentally important that we support our troops, that we show our appreciation and deep gratitude for what our veterans have done for our country, for their great sacrifices, for the freedoms that we all enjoy. So there were those of us who spoke out against some of the President's policies, and certainly to get that message out, you're going to have a lot more impact to do it when he's in your city. But this isn't a personal thing. This is about the direction that our country's taking. It's about expressing political differences. And one thing that I found very heartening during this gathering of probably more than 2,000 people yesterday who had objections to some of the President's policies was that when I talked about our support of our troops, our unwavering support of our troops, our deep gratitude to our veterans for the great freedoms that we enjoy, including the freedom to gather as we did to express our differences with our political leaders, that the crowd burst out in applause, in cheers. There was a profound recognition, I think, by everybody that yes, we're on the side of our troops, no matter our differences with our political leaders.
Speak to what we do for our troops when they return. And that's the focus of the VFW, is giving attention to that, taking care of those vets when they return.
I think that as a nation, we owe all of our veterans, no matter how they served our country, anybody who served in our armed forces, we owe them the very best in veterans' medical, housing, and educational benefits. And we've seen the great successes when we've stood by our veterans and their families, and we should never, ever compromise. We should never back away from those commitments. When they're on the ground in a combat area, for our troops in Afghanistan and Iraq, it is absolutely essential that if we're going to send our people, and a lot of young people, in harm's way, we need to provide them with the equipment, with the material support so that they can do their jobs and do it effectively. And we need to send a number of troops in order to get the job done. We shouldn't do this in half measures. And then when they return, we have to support our troops. The proposals by our nation's leaders to slash veterans' benefits in terms of medical care, our Veterans Administration, the hospitals, the housing, the educational programs. I just cannot understand how we can be on the one hand, asking people to serve our country and put everything on the line in doing that, and at the same time propose these huge reductions in veterans' benefits. I think one of the most important things that comes from the veterans of foreign wars is that we have an opportunity to show our gratitude toward our veterans for the great freedoms that have been preserved by those in our armed forces, but also to remind our young people of what has been given, to encourage our young people to read about how much has been sacrificed by so many to preserve our freedoms and to expand those freedoms for others to enjoy around the world. And I hope that young people will learn these messages and pass it on to later generations, because it's so important that we never forget those sacrifices and that we never forget that freedom is not free, that so many have given so much that we can be a free nation.
This is what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy really looks like.